From ads in your loadouts to horrible cash grab skins to milking franchises to death. If you thought you couldn't already hate Activision more than you already do, trust me, this video exposes their greed and outright stupidity to new levels. Let's explore how far they've truly fallen and why Activision are one of the most hated companies right now. So it wasn't always like this. There was a time when this company meant something. Like when you saw the Activision logo pop up, you knew you were in for something special and something actually fun. I mean, these guys gave us Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and even Modern Warfare 2. And these weren't just games, these were like childhood for me and probably you too. But for the better part of a decade, the relationship between Activision and us, it's seriously gone downhill. It started small when they moved away from the paid map packs and shifted to in-game purchases for cosmetics. And at first, it didn't sound too bad, as maps and core updates would be free for everyone, and the money would come from optional purchases, things that actually didn't impact the gameplay. And honestly, it sounded fair to a lot of us at the time. But that was a long time ago, and since then, things have really started to get out of hand. We saw loot boxes, a system everyone called out for its horrendous gambling mechanics, creating a system where you either got lucky or you spent more money, essentially copying the horrific AIDS-infected EA model that's been around forever and we hate to death. Then came the Battle Pass, and it was fairer than loot boxes, but it was still built to create a fear of missing out. It rewarded your playtime, but the best stuff was always on the premium track, pushing you to spend that little bit extra every single season. This ultimately led to the era of the bundles. No longer happy with selling single skins, Activision started packaging them into elaborate and expensive collections. $20, $30, even $40 for a handful of digital items became the new normal, and we saw crossover events with huge franchises, which is obviously going to bring in a lot of different types of audiences, and every single one was another chance to sell themed bundles at a premium price. And guess what? This printed money. Call of Duty alone started pulling in billions a year from these microtransactions, and the backlash was loud, but the profits were louder, and the company learned the angry posts you might see online didn't really mean a drop in sales. With enough high spending players, the peasants bitching about it could be ignored. The prices kept going up, and the bundles just kinda got more complex. The store became a bigger and bigger part of the game's menu, and it's a constant reminder that you can always spend more money in the game. And if you've played these games for a long time like me, we went from $15 map packs that gave you new maps and modes to $30 operator bundles, $90 crossover packs, and battle passes stacked onto battle passes. The price didn't just go up, the value went down, and somehow it's become the new normal. But then came the moment where things went from bad to worse: the ads. In June 2025, you log into Black Ops 6 or Warzone, go to your loadout menu, and for the first time ever, you'd see ads for store bundles. And as you'd expect, the community were not happy, with various posts saying how truly bad this was. And of course, Activision backpedaled, saying it was a UI feature test that accidentally went live, but the community was skeptical, and a lot of us just saw it for what it actually was. They float an idea in our face, and if the blowback is bad enough, they remove it and apologise. And that right there might have been the moment a lot of people finally lost trust in Activision, because it felt like a line had finally been crossed. I mean, we used to joke about how far monetization would go, but this was just outrageous. And that loadout ad disaster wasn't really the bottom of the barrel. While the whole community was rightfully focusing on the obvious ads in loadouts, other scummy things were happening in the background that not everyone will notice. The simple act of getting beaten by another player was being turned into a somewhat sales pitch. In February 2025, Activision rolled out a new feature in Black Ops 6. Before, you could often copy an opponent's loadout loadout to try their setup. And now that's been replaced with an option to wishlist the very blueprint that just killed you, creating a direct pipeline from the kill cam to their store. Bloody hell, what a surprise. And that is just a system that could easily weaponize your own frustration, turning it into a potential sale. You see a cool gun, you get killed by it, and with one click, you're on your way to owning it. There is no doubt younger audiences than you and I are guaranteed to fall into a trap like this without them even knowing about it. And this is the polar opposite of how Call of Duty was back in the day. And not surprisingly, the consequences of this escalating greed are now starting to show, because despite a record-breaking launch that saw 33 million people play, Black Ops 6 is now starting to hemorrhage players. Not a great choice of words, but within just 2 months of launch, the game lost nearly half of its player base on Steam, which is a decline far faster than its predecessor, Modern Warfare 3. And some blog posts I've seen suggest this is the quickest decline in players since Call of Duty Ghosts. And the reasons are a direct result of the issues a lot of us have been shouting about for years. Relentless monetization, a plague of cheaters, just mid-map designs, and a general feeling that the game is more focused on the store than the actual player experience. But two major issues we haven't explored yet are just as damaging. And if you do want Black Ops 6, or perhaps even the newest and trending games, do not get ripped off paying silly prices. Get a far better deal by clicking the link down below to Instant Gaming, and they always have some pretty damn good sales on, and this was the place I bought my games from before I even did this sponsor. I'll leave a link to their website down below. Now back to the two major issues with Activision we still haven't talked about. The cheating problem still continues to be a thing in these games. Despite Activision's Ricochet anti-cheat system, which is basically a kernel level driver to detect foul play, cheating still remains rampant. In fact, Activision themselves even admitted that Ricochet's effectiveness did not hit the mark during the first season of Black Ops 6, especially in the rank play. And from what I've researched, this seems to be happening only because of the limited time developers actually have to work on these damn games. I mean, the gap between releases did not last long before yearly releases would be a thing again, with very little time to improve Call of Duty year after year and preventing cheaters from actually exploiting the game. But to make matters even worse, in recent news, just days after Call of Duty World War II was added to the PC Game Pass, players soon found out the game had a major security flaw. Hackers were using a well-known remote code execution exploit, which is normally called RCE, to take complete control of your PC during multiplayer matches. This wasn't just cheating, it was a full-blown security breach, with modders being able to open notepads, steal files, or even crash your PC. And I've never seen anything like this before, and it shocks me how Activision pushed an 8-year-old game onto the Game Pass without even checking it properly, because we all know that Call of Duty games are very likely to get hacked to shit 5+ years after launch. It's normally common knowledge. So how the hell can something like this get overlooked? Especially to this degree as well, it's pretty insane. It has now been taken offline, thank God. I'll be very cautious playing older Call of Duties from now on. Another thing a lot of players absolutely despise is the horrendous customer support and just their lack of care. If your account ever gets stolen by cheaters or if you lose access, good bloody luck. The customer support system is notoriously bad. And I actually had no idea how truly poor it was, but some of the stuff I've seen is pretty horrific. Players report their accounts being compromised with emails and passwords changed, only to find out there's no way to speak to a real person. The official account recovery process often involves automated responses that close tickets without resolution, or in some cases, send password reset links to the hacker's email address instead of yours, which often results in losing your account that could have had a load of money piled into it. But get this, some players have discovered the only way to get an actual response is to file a formal complaint with the Better Business Bureau. And this is a step that you would never think you'd need to take for a damn video game. I mean, bloody hell. And for that reason, players aren't just angry anymore. They are actually leaving, and I completely support it and understand why. And that same burnout a lot of us feel even carried over to the Black Ops 7 reveal. Instead of the usual hype, the community reception was kind of lukewarm. almost laughable. The trailer felt tired, showcasing some of the same old mechanics and ideas players have seen for years, and it feels like a perfect example of a franchise being milked to death, a hollow shell of its former self. And some say Call of Duty will never die, but anything is possible, especially where things are going, and especially with these numbers declining. So where does it actually end? Well, I still think sales for the next few games will be somewhat strong, preventing the changes we actually want, but surely they will need to innovate somewhat soon and actually listen to the players, as we can't have a logo that looks like this for Christ's sake. And it's clear that players are getting sick to death of the rehashed bullshit, and I honestly don't think even the hardcore players of Call of Duty will put up with the in-game ads amongst the various other flaws if things continue. And I do find it so sad that a company that gave us some of the most iconic games ever made no longer cares for its player base, and is the very reason I personally haven't properly played Call of Duty for a long time. And I literally have no interest in doing so. But what do you think of Activision? Do you think they can turn things around? I would love to know what you think in the comment section down below. And to watch the downfall of Starfield and whether it is worth playing in 2025, make sure to click the video on screen, as this was actually kind of interesting. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.